There's something really strange about seeing a monkey sitting in the snow. When you think about monkeys, the image that comes to mind is probably tropical forests or jungle trees somewhere hot and humid. That's where we expect to find them. But in the mountains of central Japan during winter, you'll find monkeys existing in conditions that seem impossible. We're talking about places where temperatures regularly hit 14 degrees Fahrenheit or colder, with snow covering everything for months. These aren't conditions where you'd expect any primate to thrive, but that's exactly what's happening with the Japanese macaque. They call them snow monkeys, but that name doesn't capture how bizarre their story really is. What gets us, as a matter of fact, is that these aren't monkeys barely surviving. Their populations in certain areas are actually doing pretty well despite living in completely unsuitable conditions for a tropical animal. These are tropical animals by design, but the Japanese macaque lives further north than any other non-human primate on Earth. The question is, how did that come to be? About 500,000 years ago, these macaques migrated from mainland Asia to Japan when the climate was warmer and more hospitable. Things were fine for quite a while, surely. But then the Ice Age hit, and temperatures plummeted across the region. Most species that couldn't handle it either died out or migrated south, but the macaques stayed and adapted remarkably fast. Their fur became incredibly thick compared to relatives in warmer areas. In fact, research shows their fur density increased by roughly 50% compared to other macaque species. So they basically grew a permanent winter coat from their skin, which sounds uncomfortable at first, but obviously works for them. In ensuring their survival, they knew their grown fur wouldn't be enough, so they also evolved the art of huddling. These animals huddle together constantly during winter. Dozens of individuals press close, sharing body heat. While huddling, they rotate positions, so monkeys on the outside getting hit by the wind eventually get their turn in the warm center. It's a technique based on cooperation that they use for survival because they know no individual can make it alive in the cold alone. Now, another behavioral pattern that distinguishes these animals is their affinity for the hot springs. That's actually what most people know these monkeys for. The image of snow monkeys in steaming water with snowflakes on their heads is iconic, but that behavior is relatively recent. In 1963, a young female macaque named Mukubili did something nobody had seen before. She walked into a natural hot spring at Jigokudani in the Nagano Mountains. The other monkeys just watched like she'd lost her mind. But Mukubili got in that warm water and figured out it felt good when it's freezing outside. Within a few years, the whole troop was doing it. Now, Jigokudani Monkey Park attracts more than 100,000 visitors yearly who come to watch the monkeys bathing. People literally come from all over the world for this spectacle. But while it seems harmless enough, we have to understand that every day, hundreds of humans crowd around these monkeys with cameras making constant noise. The monkeys can't escape it because, unfortunately, they didn't have a say in becoming a tourist attraction. What researchers have now found is that tourism is changing their behavior. Kyoto University studies, for example, show that because of the tourism lifestyle they have gotten used to, the Japanese macaques spend less time foraging or socializing. Some are even becoming dependent on food that tourists give them illegally, despite park rules that aren't really enforced. It is notable that this pattern happens everywhere humans and wild animals interact. Yellowstone with bears, Galapagos with sea lions, Borneo with orangutans. Basically, we want to connect with nature, but we always end up changing what we came to see. Beyond tourism, the macaques also live in mountains completely transformed by human activity. Forests have been logged for timber, lands have been developed for ski resorts and hotels, roads cut through everywhere they used to roam freely. Because of this, their range has shrunk by over 40% in the last century, as we've progressively taken more land for ourselves. Some hot springs are even now artificially maintained, heated, and cleaned specifically for tourist viewing. We've simply commodified their survival strategy. Still, we're also the only ones who can protect what's left. Some Japanese communities, for example, have figured out there's a better way to interact with the monkeys than exploiting them for tourism or killing them when they raid crops. An instance is the wildlife management areas created in some regions. These are not nature preserves where humans are banned, but shared spaces with enforceable rules. Towns near macaque habitats have established buffer zones limiting development, securing garbage, and using non-lethal crop protection. This in a term is called territorial governance, and it is a messy venture. You've got angry farmers on one hand complaining about losing harvests. Conservationists are opposing the lethal management of the wildlife areas. Tourism businesses are breathing down your neck because they need the monkeys, so on and so forth. These are some of the problems that come up when humanity tries to do right by these animals. But we have also found that what works better is when local people have a genuine decision-making authority they subscribe to on these matters. For example, Yamanouchi, where Jigoku Dani is located, established a community-based management committee after years of conflict. The committee included not scientists from Tokyo or distant bureaucrats, but local farmers, business owners, and residents who meet regularly to figure out what's working and what isn't. They decide together where the monkeys can go, how to handle problems, and how tourism revenue gets distributed to compensate farmers. Is everyone happy with it? No. Some farmers still lose crops, some conservationists think it's too aggressive, but the monkey population is stable and conflicts have decreased. In a nutshell, people haven't given up yet on coexistence. Similar approaches are being tried elsewhere, in Kenya, for instance, where Kenya's community conservancies give Maasai communities direct control over wildlife management and revenue. Costa Rica pays landowners to protect forest habitat, while Indonesia recognizes indigenous groups as legal forest guardians with real authority. The pattern is indeed clear. When communities benefit from conservation, when their knowledge gets respected, and when they have genuine ownership, it works better than top-down regulations from distant authorities. So, what do monkeys surviving in the snow teach us? First, adaptation is possible even when conditions change dramatically. These macaques thrived not by being stronger, but by being flexible and cooperative. When Mukubili stepped into that hot spring, she didn't know if it would help. She just tried something new. Her troop watched, learned, and followed. We need that same willingness with climate change. Global temperatures have increased 1.1 degrees Celsius since pre-industrial times, and we're heading toward much worse. We cannot keep using the same strategies expecting different outcomes. Second, coexistence requires everyone to give something up. The macaques surrendered huge portions of their range. Humans, on the other hand, need to let go of the assumption that every piece of land serves only our economic interests. Farmers deserve compensation for crop losses. Conservationists need to accept that some wildlife management might be necessary, and tourists need to understand the impacts their presence carries and why some places should have visitor limits. Third, and most critically, people living closest to nature need to make the decisions about protecting it, not international NGOs or distant government agencies. The farmer who's worked the same land for 60 years knows things about local wildlife that no PhD researcher will fully understand. The tour guide who sees the same monkeys daily notices behavior changes before any monitoring system does. We need governance systems that give these people real authority, not performative consultation that gets ignored. The Japanese macaque has survived ice ages, volcanic eruptions, and 500,000 years of environmental chaos. But right now, their biggest threat isn't cold or snow, it's us and our choices about development, about tourism, and about whether we're willing to share space with other species or just keep taking everything. That is the truth for almost every species alive, and it is true for humans too, because when we destroy habitats and break down ecosystems, we undermine the natural systems that keep us alive. Clean water, clean air, stable climate, pollination, and soil health. Everything is interconnected. The monkey in the snow is a mirror showing us what adaptation looks like under pressure, showing us that cooperation beats competition when survival is at stake. So maybe the real question isn't how the macaque survives in snow, maybe it's whether we're willing to make necessary changes to survive alongside them. The macaques are already adapting to our world. Whether we adapt to share it with them remains an open question we haven't answered yet.